Magandang araw po sa inyo. Welcome po sa isa na namang episode ng online series ni Inang Pamantasan kung saan ang pagkatuto ay walang hangganan. Ito ang PNU Talks. Ako nga pala si Liza Legaspino at ako ang inyong Learning from Home buddy sa episode na ito. I-comment ang inyong mga katanungan at mga kuro-kuro tungkol sa ating episode ngayong araw. At huwag kalimutang i-like at i-share ang episode natin. Sisimulan ko ang ating talk sa isang katanungan. When was the last time you wanted to find out an information? Where do you get information? You could probably answer that you get information from the newspaper, from books, from watching the news, from social media, or basically the internet. So another question is, who do we listen to? Parents, grandparents, elders, siblings, from our boss, supervisor, teachers, mentors, friends, or experts. But how about a child? When was the last time you have listened to a child? Have you ever asked a child's opinion or idea on any household activity? Like, what does he want for breakfast? Or like, what does she want to do after online class? So, my topic is about the voice. Listening to young children's perspectives. Once again, I am Liza C. Legaspino, Bachelor of Early Childhood Education, Batch 2007, and Master of Arts in Education with Specialization in Early Childhood Education, Batch 2021. So, another question. How do you see children? I've asked some of my family members and friends to answer this question. So, it would be interesting since they are not teachers to find out how do they see children. So, their answers are expensive life investment but worth it, life-changing decision, happy pill, innocent, fragile, and vulnerable. How about you? How do you see children? Do you see the child as the child to be saved or the child as a savior? So if you've chosen the child to be saved, that's the poet's view. Or if you see the child as a savior, that's the reformer's view. So these are the dual views of childhood. And basically, children were to be saved, but more importantly, children were to become saviors. So I remember the time during our college years, our professors would emphasize that being an education is an opportunity to touch the future. And they're telling that we are the only ones who can touch the future. Well, it's because that we are going to teach the future of our generation, the future assets of the society. So, another question is, what is children's perspective anyway? Children's perspective is the view or stance of the child from the inside out. In other words, a children's perspective is always expressed in the children's own words, thoughts, and images. So, children are more than what we think they are. So, I'd like to share to you my study, Exploring Filipino Kindergarten's Perspective on Disasters, a descriptive case study. So, I'll be sharing some of the results of my study and many years of experience as an early childhood educator. So, let me share to you this quote. A child will follow your example, not your advice. So for those of you who have children at home, I know you could attest to this. So sometimes you would see your child copying or modeling what you're doing For example, how you fix things or even your expressions. For us teachers, we see this in our students during playtime. Sometimes they would pretend to be us. So I'm very, very careful of my actions because, who knows, what expressions would they copy from me or the gestures that I do. And, some of my pupils before who are already adults now, some of the first year of teaching that I had are already in college. So sometimes they would even um, tell me that they still remember our time during kindergarten, level, and they would tell me that how it was fun during that time, and they would actually not remember the lessons that I've taught them, but would actually remember the things that we did, the memories, the activities that we did, and of how I was, nice to them. And it's very good to hear. It's very heartwarming to know that these children, we have contributed something in their lives. And more importantly, it's nice that children will emulate letter V. It starts with letter V, the values that we taught them. So, children emulate values of generosity, care, kindness, service, respect, compassion, helpfulness. So, in the study that I have conducted, when asked what would they do if they saw their friend in an unfortunate circumstance, so this unfortunate circumstance is are the disasters that they have experienced. So whether it's an earthquake, typhoon, or flooding. So here are some of their responses. Tumira na lang po siya sa amin. Sabihan niya na lang si mama niya na bilhan siya ng gamit. Next response is, punta ka sa bahay ko, tapos dun ka matulog, tapos dun ka magpakabait, dun ka magpray. So it's really I'm really amazed of the children's responses. And in the study, it was found out that kindergarten children have the capacity to think of others' welfare in the event of disasters. Their attitude of wanting to be of help and to share whatever they have display the prominent values children have. So values are not taught but caught. So as a child, how do you catch it, right? So it's through observation. Children learn through observation. So the social learning theory, so Albert Bandura is the proponent. According to him, learning can occur by watching others then modeling what they do or say. So I remember this 90s commercial that says, sa mata ng bata, ang ginagawa ng matanda ay laging tama. So it's how we adults should be responsible of our actions, most especially when children see us as their role models. So here in Albert Bandura's Bobo doll experiment, it demonstrated that children are able to learn social behavior through the process of observation learning, through watching the behavior of another person. So in this experiment, there was a lady whom the children watched how the lady treated the Bobo doll in the video. And then after a while, they let the children go inside a room full of toys, and when they saw the Bobo doll experiment, it showed there that they copied the way the lady treated the Bobo doll. So that's it. So adults play a crucial role in the lives of children. So in the children's rights, in Article 18, it says there the responsibility of parents, that parents are the main people responsible for bringing up a child. So in the case that a child does not have any parent, another adult will have this responsibility, and they will be called as guardians. And for Article 3, this is a child-friendly version. It says here that All adults should do what is best for you. When adults make decisions, they should think about how their decisions will affect children. So, if adults are responsible for the best interest of children, do you let children give their own opinions about small, big, or in between decisions? So, I hope your answer is yes, because children have the right to share their letter I insights. Because in the Convention of the Rights of Children, so this is the children's version, Article 12 states that respect for children's views, children have the right to give their opinions freely on issues that affect them. Adults should listen and take children seriously. So I remember this social media post about a mother. She stated there that her son already said no and please, but she still insisted of letting him wear the piece of clothing that she was about to sell or to give to a niece. So it's violating actually this children's right. And another article states that in Article 13, sharing thoughts freely, you have the right to find out things and share what you think with others by talking, drawing, writing, or any other way unless it harms or offends other people. So we can actually know their thoughts and feelings not only by talking, but through drawing or writing. So in the study that I have conducted, I have asked the children what was on his or her mind when the disaster occurred. So, this is the response from the child who experienced the earthquake. Naisip ko, pray ako kay Jesus para hindi mabagsakan, para hindi mamatay. So, he was talking about his experience during the earthquake. And then next is the child who experienced flooding. Ano, lumangoy, kailangang lumangoy. So the story of this child was every time that it floods, the water reaches up to her neck. So even though she's not really that good in swimming, she told me that she's still learning. She needs to really swim. She needs to really need to learn how to swim because of the situation. And then the next is, lumikas na lang po, sa ibang bahay na lang po. So this is the response from a child who experienced typhoon. So he shared his experience that they were forced to evacuate because of the intensity of the typhoon, that they were asked to just transfer into another house, and they went to their grandma's house, he said. So here I have another one. When the child was asked what does he or she likes when the lesson about earthquakes will be taught in class. So he said, yung building tower, yung blocks, opo, tapos nag. And then he's acting, swing of his hands. Tapos nabagsak, tapos itatayo, tapos ibabagsak, parang yung sa lindol. Mahilig po kasi akong gumawa. Katulad sa TV, yung Team Yehey sa Channel 4, sumasayaw, tapos kakanta, tapos games, tapos may arts din, may gagawin. So he expressed here that if given the chance that lesson about earthquakes will be given to their class, he wants that, he hopes that it will have games, it will have manipulatives, and they will be given a chance to sing, to dance, and to have art activities. So it just shows that children are capable of having their own views and express their feelings on a particular type of disaster. It may be the same or unique from another individual. And it shows there also how they would prefer, active learning in the lessons that are taught to them. And through that, I was able to come up with sample lessons with the suggestions that they have given. So, another question is, have you ever asked a child's opinion or idea on a particular issue. For example, to what is happening to our world right now, the COVID-19. Have you ever asked a child's opinion or idea about this? Like, why do we have to stay inside? Or did they also ask you, like, when will they get the chance to really go out? It's because young children breathe, letter C, curiosity. So it's very innate to them. So instead, sometimes when they ask questions, instead of providing all the answers when children begin asking questions, you can invite them to consider a variety of answers without fear. So the state of being curious is more valuable than the content or the findings of their wonderment. So with this, I have a scenario. So for example, Nay, bakit po bawal lumabas? Ay naku anak, may COVID-19. Ano po yung COVID-19? Ay basta anak, pag lumabas ka, sige ka, magkakasakit ka. End of conversation. Of course, we don't want to be that kind of adult. So, we would want them to 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 think and to have that creative thinking, and also to think of ways like why is it happening, so that they would develop high orderly thinking skills. And by encouraging them to to wonder, to hypothesize, you model creative thinking and inductive and deductive reasoning. And with that, like what I've said, they will use this high order thinking skills throughout their lives, even when they grow up. If you practice this kind of encouragement, a form of encouragement to them, by accommodating their curiosity, then we equip the child to have this high orderly thinking skills. And kindergartens become more aware of events outside their immediate world. As the year progresses, kindergartens become more aware of the events outside their immediate world, and they wonder about the bigger things such as life, death, violence, and war. And with the given situation that we have, they can, they can give their opinions and ideas about this. And with the study also that I've conducted, even I was amazed with their answers, that they know that they have to be safe, and they have to be prepared when it comes to disasters. And as adults, we are supposed to be there to guide them. And if a wants an answer from you, it is important to respond simply and honestly, but never shun them. Okay, so a young children's curiosity is an open door for learning that we adults shouldn't miss. But, the question is again, how can we utilize children's curiosity further? It is through or allowing them to express their emotions, because they have the capacity to express emotions. So the question is, how can they express emotions? So we allow and address it. So when asked how does he or she feel during the disaster, so it's the sample response. It says here, nagulat ako, tapos noon, 2 lindol. Kahapon, nagulat ako. Nung kanina natakot ako, konti lang, pero hindi ako natakot ng husto. So, the child is actually referring to the 2 lindol, is the aftershocks that he felt. And even though he doesn't, sometimes children still is not aware of the sense of time. So, he's referring it to kahapon, but it's actually a while ago. But he was telling that he was really surprised and was really scared because of that. And then next is, kasi umuulan pa rin, malungkot pa rin kasi hindi nakakalabas ng bahay, kasi hindi titigil yung ulan, kasi hindi ka makakapasok. So this is how the child feels when he knows that the typhoon is still occurring, because he knows the following day or the next day he can't go to school, and he's really sad about that, and he's sad that he can't go out of his house. So actually, because this child lives in the side of the the railroad, so he would really want to go out and play instead of like staying in his house. So that's next. Acknowledging children's feelings can also unlock different emotional vocabulary. And how do we allow that? Allow children to listen to their mind and body. So um sometimes when we just give them like um when they feel sad about it, so sad about a certain thing, or even when they watch a show, they sometimes feel sad about the character, and then you would sometimes adult will say, oh, ba't ka umiyak? Ano ba yan? Ba't ka umiiyak? Eh, ano lang yan? Movie lang yan. Ganon. But if you allow them to listen to how they feel and, try to really talk about it, then it will open different emotional vocabularies. And this one is introduce shades of meaning for a little bit older children. You can, when they have already learned the synonyms and antonyms, you can already introduce shades of meaning. For example, the word pleased and thrilled, you know when you introduce shades of meaning, both words uh tell that these words are related to the word happy, pleased and thrilled, but thrilled shows more excitement. So it's how you introduce shades of meaning. And for younger children, you could also allow them to sketch the feeling. So that children will not only learn, the feelings of happy, sad, angry, like that, or mad, but they would learn a whole lot of emotional vocabulary, so they can learn the words upset, disappointed, excited, and other words like that. And here I have another example. When asked how he or she felt during the disaster, the child said, konting takot lang. Malakas po ako eh. Nandyan din po kasi si mommy. So, children feel most safe when they are with trusted adults or when they are alone in a place where they feel they are in control. So, they often determine their level of safety based on the reaction of others, particularly people they trust and other people and young people who are similar to themselves. So, do you know how important, the actions that we show to the child and how we respond or how we react to the behavior that they are showing? It plays a big role for them to show that they are in a safe place. So how can we really listen to children's perspectives? So how can we do all these things? Of course, you don't find time, but you make time. You make time for what? You make time to learn and listen to children's V for values, O observations, I insights, C curiosity, E emotions. And that is the voice, values, observations, insights, curiosity, and emotions of children. And we have to remember that children are capable of contributing to the solution. They too can be part of a decision making process. And with that, I would like to say thank you, and I hope you've learned something from my talk today.